Greetings, Conscious Collab. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about everything 9D down to 3D. Today, we're going to be taking a look at these videos discussing generational curses. Do y'all feel like all the mental health, sickness, illness, diseases, bad cycles, hardship, negative energy that people go through in life stem from hereditary and genetics, as they would say scientifically? Or do y'all feel it's more of a deeper connection, a deeper spiritual meaning behind all this? Let's take a look at these videos today. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let's go.
What they don't tell you about generational curses. First of all, you are a genetic combination of both your parents. 23 chromosomes from your mom and 23 chromosomes from your dad make you. Generational curses are genetic debilitations or shortcomings that have been passed down your genetic lineage. Now, the best way to understand your genetic makeup is through astrology. Your astrological birth report is synonymous to your genome. As above, so below. What's going on astrologically is also going on biologically. This is ancient law. It's the squares, oppositions, and quincunxes in your natal chart that represent your genetic curses or your generational curses or demons. Make sure y'all follow for more. Reflected light from the Most High, Chief, 3 God. Peace to the gods. I love myself.
Don't you know that your own family could be your worst, biggest enemy? They can have secret animosity towards you. And it don't even matter which family member it is. It could be your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. People in your family are your worst enemy. And you'll be surprised, right? Because they are the ones that's closest to you. See, often we talk about how folks at your job could be your biggest enemy. We talk about how friends could be your biggest enemy. But really, it's family. And believe it or not, too, those are the ones that you got to watch out for, is your family. See, with certain families, it's a lot of generational curses that need to be broken. Some folks in your family, they don't want to see you make it. They don't want to see you succeed in your life. Family could be your biggest hater. And it's sad to say it, but a lot of times, outsiders will support you more than your own family would. If you really want to know who your real family is, lose your job, lose everything that you have, and watch who your real family is. Because once you lose everything that you have, and the first thing that they do is talk about you and not help you, watch out for them. A lot of folks in your family, they like to bring up the past. They want to talk about the kind of person that you used to be. They don't want to talk about who you are now. And y'all still out here talking about, oh, that's my family, I love them no matter what. They don't even love you. They're not even loyal to you. And as soon as you start going through things in your life, who's there for you? Not them. I'm just saying. Watch out. Because everybody ain't family. And all blood ain't thicker than water.
When a child is in the womb, it's feeding on what the mother is feeding on, not just physically, but spiritually. This is how generational curses get passed down through the bloodline. There's a transfer of spirits in the womb. So as a parent, if you don't transform from that curse, you will transfer that curse. If you don't get delivered from that Jezebel, that Delilah, that anger, that gluttony, then you'll transfer it. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Let me tell y'all about the humiliation spell. The ritual, rather. This is why I don't trust these people that be going on the news when something happened tragically with their children. These celebrities when something happened with these children. I don't trust it. And honestly, I don't even have TVs in my house to watch the news, but I call TikTok the news. Whenever you scrolling down TikTok, you finna see love broadcasting live here on TikTok. So that's what I call the news. But I'm gonna say this. Have y'all ever watched a parent on the news that their child got, taken up off this planet or earth, for whether it's the first, pay attention to the first child, and they be like, that's my only child or my firstborn or this and that. And they broadcasted it worldwide on the TV, and they crying and hurting. But honestly, something in your spirit be like a little iffy with it. Follow that intuition. A lot of these people be going through humiliation with rituals, meaning that's the final sacrifice because it's broadcasted for everybody to see it on top of that, this child that's been taken off this planet is broadcasted in the most horrific way, or rather it happen naturally or anything like that. In some cases it don't be that. Honestly, listen to your discernment. But it's a few things I've been seeing that's been happening lately with great girls or girls in Detroit, or just great things I've been seeing, and then I see they parent on there and I see no real soulful emotion, honestly, and I see wickedness in their parents. The reason why I tell y'all to be aware of this type of information you're downloading into your reality is because a lot of these people be wicked as fuck. Just like the Anika Jenkins situation. I don't even like saying names, y'all. With that, I stopped getting into that. That was a humiliation with the parent. I stopped getting into a lot of that stuff because a lot of these, y'all be thinking only celebrities sacrifice their children. No, don't you think most of us are celebrities. We just ain't made it to that point in reality. And most of us are born here to simply be teachers, leaders, and to help raise the frequency on this realm we on now, on this path we on now. So you got to understand something. And I used to never understand why my mom or my dad used to tell the whole family all my business. Oh, she was talking to boys, or oh, she was this. But they never used to say how they used to do me wrong, how they used to send me over people's houses for months with no clothes, no new undies, no nothing. And I'm over there bumming. How I'm getting assaulted by so many different people. Y'all not saying all this. But when you get to telling what they doing to you, why you telling my business? They was already putting us in humiliation rituals since we were children. Them parents that be on the phone like, girl, yeah, let me tell you what this motherfucker did. That's a ritual. You didn't even know it, did you? They get older, they say they done doing it. No, they get sneakier with it. They just don't let you know that they selling you. So now when you go around, everybody holding all your secrets secretly in your presence. But they giving you that energy that look like, But you always got that one kid or that one person that's going to be loyal to your ass. Even though they disloyal, they going to come and say, yeah, this or that said this or that or that. That's why people used to always say, I talk too much. Because I used to defend myself. If nobody else was defending me, I was defending me. But a lot of us been placed in humiliation rituals all the way up until we finally cut cords with these people. Y'all must release the attachments to these people. These are not your true family, baby. Your family is what you birth. And if you birth this and you know how your child is, but you continue to go around these people, you are teaching your children how to treat you. For so long, my son used to see me begging for these people attention, buying these people love. So my son started feeling like whatever I bought him, it didn't matter. And when I took him away from that environment, now he's so grateful for everything I do for him. I used to do so much people. That was the reason why I wasn't fully in my abundance season, because I'm giving my abundance away to these people. Be careful and pay attention and listen to your discernment. A lot of these parents be sacrificing their children to get further in life or material wise. A lot of it be for money, and the devil or the enemy will come into them and they'll sell out. They'll sell their soul. You ever went around a family member and you just didn't feel no connection to them whatsoever? That's because you called your power back, but you didn't know when you called your power back, you had to call it back from the motherfucker you thought was the coolest. They don't have no power no more. They walking around an empty shell because for years they took your energy and essence as a little girl, as a child. So when you finally start calling on your shit back and you go around them, you be like, who is this? Because you was only cool with them because they had a part of your fucking future within them. Your energy, your essence. So be careful with that, y'all. Real shit.
My friend, right? He was on a shroom trip. He had a really, really bad trip, but what he saw lined up to family curses. There was a moment where he was sitting on the couch. He looks up and he sees like the ceiling starting to melt. And what happens is there's an opening of like black smoke falling onto him, right? What he said he saw his uncle with his throat like cut or something. His almost like a deceased face like coming toward him. All of the smoke went into his mouth and he swallowed everything. What the? Time goes by and he thinks, okay, yeah, it's just a trip. He's gonna forget about it.
Yeah.
From then on, his friends have told him he acts different. There's certain times that he would say things that were very out of pocket, violent acts that you would want to do, but it doesn't sound like him. Different voice that says some crazy shit like, what if I just kill that person right there?
Oh,
You know what I mean? Shit like that. He found out because he recognized that it was his uncle. He was asking his relatives about it.
I slept. At exactly 11 p.m. That's when it all started.
How's the condition with your leg at this point? Still the black?
It's rotting. It's no longer black at this stage. You can see through the skin was actually falling off, so you could see the bone, which was already turning black. This is witchcraft.
So someone intentionally did that?
Yes, intentionally.
Somebody that you know?
Someone that I know. Someone related to us.
So when did your family member confess to doing what she did to you?
And then she said, I never meant to do it. It's just that I was upset.
Dale que ya viene, ya está terminando ya, mamá. Agacha la cabeza. Ya. Toma ahí.
You see what happened in this video? Things like this really happen, especially in a lot of places in Latin America. So I want people to pay attention and understand that they are evil people that would actually put things in your food or actually create some type of chaos in your life. So all I'm saying is be careful. Do not eat from just anybody. I would never, definitely not eat from nobody, period. And you know what I'm saying? Just focus and pay attention. Don't let nobody touch your head. Don't let nobody, anything. You know what I mean? I don't even let people touch me just like that. Just be very careful because things like this really do happen.
It's not just adults that prey on children. It's other children too. I can't tell you guys how many times I was preyed upon by another child that was exposed to things they should have never been exposed to. Definitely, children prey on other kids, and that's how the cycle continues. That is exactly how the cycle continues. What is introduced to one child, they do to another child. That child then affects another child, and it keeps going on and on and on. All those times of playing house or playing cousin, like how we used to do, we were all victims because we were introduced to things we should have never been introduced to. Is it our faults? No, for the most part, because we had no idea the trauma that we experienced, and we had no idea that the trauma we were giving to another child. You definitely got to watch your child around other children. Just like men aren't just the only predators, women can be predators too. Children can be predators too. It's the truth.
Let me give you 5 signs that your family is operating under a generational curse. Nobody in your family can get or stay married, especially the women. There's a heavy boyfriend-girlfriend culture in your family where people will shack up, but they always break up. It is for this reason that most of the children in your family do not have their father's last names. They're carrying the surnames of their mother's father, their grandmother's father, their great-great-grandmother's father. The point is the last name that is supposed to be attached to them was lost somewhere. Number 2, there's a lot of premature death with the men in the family. Go Go watch my previous video for context, but whenever you're dealing with a generational curse, especially when you're dealing with generational witchcraft or when you're dealing with witchcraft period, there typically is a clause in the contract that allows the enemy to take young boys, which is what he prefers to take the young men. I want you to think about the olden days or even the biblical days whenever they would have war. Most of the time when one nation attacked another one, they would kill the men, but they would take the women into captivity. They would turn the women into sex slaves. That's how Satan moves. This is largely because women have wombs. Spirits get to enter into our wombs and come into the realm of the earth. Legally, that is. Number 3, generational poverty. Now, I have to say this, poverty is a mindset. It's not just the outward condition, it's the inward condition of the mind, or better yet, the heart. It's being limited to certain information. That's all it is. Information is an arm. The less information you have, the less your reach is. That's good, golly, or true information, I mean. And anytime you find poverty in a family, you will typically find the crabs in a bucket mentality. A lot of ignorance, a lot of fighting, a lot of drinking and drugs, which brings me to number 4. Addiction runs in your bloodline. As humans, we were actually created to progress, and anytime we don't progress, we start going in cycles or systems. This is what we call a stronghold. This creates a great deal of depression, and this depression is oftentimes pacified by addiction. That's until depression gets so big that it is no longer satisfied by a pacifier. It has to get a bottle. The bottle is called rebellion. The Bible says rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. You see, it's not just about Satan keeping you ignorant. He actually wants you to come into agreement with him. He wants you to surrender your will to him. Eventually, the bottle isn't enough, so he has to start giving you meat. This particular meat is called witchcraft. Outright witchcraft, that is. Number 4, division in the family. Division is one of Satan's most narcissistic moves. His objective is to divide and conquer. So your family begins to consist of 3 groups of people. The rebellious, unsaved, hateful, the ones who don't care about serving the Lord. The religious, those who have the appearance of godliness but deny the power thereof. And a few righteous folks. Nobody likes the religious people, so they separate themselves. The righteous are disregarded by the family because a prophet is not without honor except in his own country and amongst his own kin. So they have to move on to where they can be used by God. And the sinful, rebellious, and those who are just pretty much into witchcraft stick together until some of them start fighting for power. So yeah, that last one was actually number 5. Let's just go ahead and do a bonus one. Mental illness runs in your family. You see, the mind can be like a country within itself. It's broken up into different states. There's the financial realm, the parental realm, the platonic realm. There are so many realms of the mind. Satan typically enters in through one realm, and he continues to advance across the mind or over the mind. We can describe these realms as real estate. The more real estate a demon has in a person's mind, the more it can incapacitate that person. I hope I said that right. A person who has limited real estate in their own mind or limited use of the real estate of their mind is typically going to be mentally ill or have mental disorders, which means that that person can only teach their children a limited amount of information, causing their children to be limited as well. That's why mental health issues tend to run in a family. You'll see a lot of narcissism, bipolar disorder, a lot of schizophrenia running in that particular family. So those are the 5 or 6 signs that your family is operating under a generational curse. The obvious question is, how do I break the curse? You want to surrender yourself to God. Completely, wholeheartedly give yourself over to God. And then you want to make sure that you go through deliverance. You have to do that by yourself sometimes so that your family can follow suit.
Jamaican stories that will have you wondering why people so wicked. A family curse. Full story. St. Thomas, Jamaica is known throughout the island to be a beautiful parish but dangerous place spiritually, and it is said that only Christians of pure heart and strong faith survive there. It is alleged that they set people to H-ing themselves, jump in river, running crazy on the street, and send evil spirits to unalive people in 7 to 9 days. It is said that they also set people to burn down their own houses. The children of the weak always come out to nothing good. In Elwes Valley, the whole family was very possessed with evil spirits that people put on them. The mother and father of the children was unalived in very evil ways. The children, every last one of them, either became mentally ill or H-inged themselves. Their house looked like the devil lived in it. One of the sons was so possessed that he burned the house down and H-ing himself. How they found his body was the talk of the town. The man was very light-skinned, thin and tall with dreadlocks, and used to talk to himself. He had a baby mother with 1 or 2 daughters before his illness got worse. She had to run away from him. One of his brother is still living but is very ill in the head, and the sister is also mentally ill. All the other brothers each had injured themselves. Before he burned his family's house down, he was attacking the children in the community. After the house was burned to the ground, the land was never resold because it carries a curse that will befall anyone who inhabits it.
Like and follow for more.
Did you know that in ancient Greece, curses could sometimes take on a life of their own? This is Alastor, a personified curse. It was said to be related to the Erinyes, chthonic deities of vengeance, deities and spirits of retaliation. Alastor specifically presided over family blood feuds, bringing vengeance upon the younger generations. It was said that if a curse becomes powerful enough, it will become Alastor. It was believed to take possession of a host to seek vengeance and quench its bloodthirst. Well, theoretically, it is a sort of justice spirit. Check out my Patreon for more, where I talk more about Alastor, as well as many other types of Greek spirits.
Shut up, it is not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
The narcissistic family is a generational curse or a generational pattern from a scientific perspective. And I'm going to give you some ways that you can deal with this if you are in a narcissistic family. The first thing to do is to become an investigator. Find out what the relationships were like in your family before you were born. So find out how your parents related to their parents and how their parents related to their parents. Go back as far as you can to see if you can identify patterns of narcissistic behavior. The next thing to do is to assess how many lies you've been told in your family. Were you told lies about who your real father was or who your real mother was? Do you have siblings that you didn't know anything about for years? These are huge lies. Count those lies. If there are more than 1 or 2 in your family, and I'm talking about investigate lies that your parents were told or that your grandparents were told. If you can find more than 2, then there are some generational patterns going on. The next thing to do is to assess how truth tellers are treated in your family. Anyone who tells the truth, anyone who is authentic, anyone who is real, anyone who really highlights dysfunction in the family. Are they shunned? Are they turned into the scapegoat? How are they treated? The next thing to do is to assess where you fit into this. Are you someone who just sort of sits back and observes all of this dysfunction going on in your family and you say nothing? Do you just sort of go along to get along? Do you participate in the lies? Are you being inauthentic when you interact with your family members? Or are you pushing against this? Are you standing up for yourself? Are you telling the truth? Are you saying no? Are you setting boundaries? Assess how you're being treated based on the role you're playing in your family. If you are pushing against the dysfunction, well, congratulations. You are the generational curse breaker. But buckle up your seatbelt because it's not an easy ride. Be ready for trials, be ready for tribulations, but know that you are the change maker in your bloodline. You are the hero or heroine in your family. And if no one else thanks you for standing up against the dysfunction, I thank you. The world needs more people like you. I hope this helps. Take care and bye-bye.
You're not going to like this one. Your Instagram lurkers, your colleagues, all the fake friends seeping into your inner circle are not actually your biggest haters. Your biggest haters could be the people that are closest to you. Your family. Your family members have seen you at your very worst. They've seen you struggle right from the beginning. They may try to sabotage your success by being outright nasty or passive aggressive in their attempts to keep you down. You're here to break generational curses. So keep them at bay and watch your back. And be careful what you say around them.
All I need is good energy. negativity around me. High frequency. I'm talking higher G-O-D, yeah. Good energy.
Hey, listen up. 5 signs that you are the generational curse breaker. Let's get it. Number 1, you go through suffering. From the day you can remember, you've been suffering. And the reason why you are suffering because God chose you. You have what it takes to break the generational curse. In the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48, to whom much is given, much is required. God done bless you with a lot of spiritual gifts. He done bless you with the power within, and you have what it takes. So that's number 1, guys. You endure a lot of suffering. Number 2, your family go against you. And the reason why your family go against you is because that God chose you. God chose you to break the generational curse. God done give you a lot of spiritual gift. You are blessed, and your family know that. You was born into a family that was cursed for generations to generation to generation, and God done put you in that family so you could break that generational curse, so you could show your family what love is, because God is love and love is God. Your family goes against you because they know God is with you. That's number 2. Your family goes against you. Number 3, you have a vision. Yes, the vision that God put in your heart is because he want to use you as a vessel to express his glory, to do his will. So the vision that you have is God's vision, so you could break this generational curse. But you got to be obedient. You have to listen to God, and you must have this relationship with God, because he want you to break this generational curse, because this generation curse been going on forever in your family, and he know you have what it takes because he chose you. So that's number 3, guys. You have a vision. Number 4, you're the first to do something big in your family. To give you an example, you're probably the first person to go off to college. You're probably the first person to start off a business. You're probably the first person that made over 6 figures. You was the first to do something big. Why? It's because God put the vision in your heart. He put the purpose with you, and he's with you at all times. So your family always going to be against you, and they're not going to be happy for you. So that's number 4, guys. You're the first to do something big. Number 5, you're the chosen one. You are destined for success. Many are called, just a few are chosen.
This is a story time of how I found out that someone has been working witchcraft over my life, and I found out who it was a couple weeks ago. Let me start off by saying that witchcraft does run in both my bloodlines of the family. I am Jamaican. I just never believed in it, and I always thought that if I don't believe in something, that it can't reach me. But boy, was I wrong. So I'm gonna start by 2 years ago, which was everything went downhill for my life. Prior to this, my business was up, business was booming, bought my car, everything. I was prospering. I moved into a new place, and a couple months into that, I actually had a rapture dream. And the dream was God was calling me. So I took that very serious. Couple months after that, me and this person wasn't talking at this time, but a couple months after that, I got into a car accident. The day of my accident, I just felt uneasy, and I felt like something was gonna happen. I just didn't know what. 5 minutes later, after I left my house, I got into a car accident that left me with back injury, nerve damage in my arm and my knee. Again, I wasn't speaking to that person at the time, but I had to speak to them in order to sort out my car situation. So we rekindled whatever, we were cool, whatever. A couple months after that, I had a sleep paralysis in my dream. I was sleeping on my stomach this time, and I just felt a dark figure overshadowing over me, and I just couldn't move. But I was awake mentally or whatever. I didn't read the Bible as much growing up or whatever, but for some reason I recited this one Bible verse in my head, and that's how I woke up out of that. It was the walking through the valley of death, shadow valley of death, whatever. See, I don't even know it right now by heart, but I knew it in my sleep to wake up. Then I ended up having to move, and I moved into a new place. This person didn't know where I moved, but they ended up getting my address because they wanted to deliver something to me or ship something to me or whatever. Ever since then, things started to take a turn. Let me say this, I didn't pick up on any of these things until a couple weeks ago when I asked God to reveal these things to me. I started seeing flies in my house, black flies, like regular flies. And it was like I was killing 6 to 10 flies a day. There was no open spaces in my house for me to see where the flies were coming from. Like I was spending day and night trying to figure out where they're coming from. Until I found out that's one of the signs that someone is working witchcraft over you. And it was just so ironic when they found out my address that all these things were happening. The next thing is I've been having snake dreams. And when I mean snake dreams, I'm talking thousands of snakes in my dream. Until I found out that's another sign of somebody working witchcraft over you. Take your dream serious. This person had delivered something to my house, and I had it in my house because it was furniture. I ended up losing my place and had to find somewhere else. For the past 2 years, my mental health has been so bad. I've been stagnant. I've been in a repetitive cycle in my life, and I just could not figure out what it was. I had to stop running my hair business because of this. I had finance issues. I've lost my job, like a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like every time I don't speak to this person, this is what happened. Until a couple weeks ago, I deleted all my social media so the person no longer has access to know what I'm doing or me personally.
So have any of us ever, and I know not just any of us, I know it's been a few of us, have dealt with a karmic masculine man and their karmic mother? And that karmic masculine man been through a lot of traumas in his lifetime. And he has a very much strong bond connection to his mother. Now, I didn't, been around a lot of men that love the hell out their mother. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But they also know the difference between being, letting their parent rule their life versus them having their own life to experience and also letting their parents have they say so too. A lot of these men and karmic, especially karmic men, don't want to admit that they had something very much sinister that happened between him and their mother. Their mother feel entitled of that child because she's in love with him. And not in a good, not in a good way. Especially since she was never able to hold down she wasn't ready to heal. She wasn't ready to make a change in her life. So she decided to depend and put all her pressure and stress to depend on her child. That's why right now, I ain't gonna lie, tell my son right now, and I know he love me, but he'll tell me that he want to buy me this and that and this. I tell him no. Because at the end of the day, I'm your mother. I don't want you to feel like that you have to do this for me. You gonna want to do that because you want to. But you don't have to do that, because some mothers out here really do make their sons feel like that they have to take care of their mamas. Oh, you gotta do this for me because I'm your mama. Oh, I did this for you and that because I'm your mama. You trying to turn your son into your man. That ain't your man, bitch. That's your son. And a lot of these men already was lacking without their fathers, the energy. Even if the father was there, he wasn't 100% daddy. Something nasty happened between somebody I know and their mother. Probably more than one. And that's why he always used his mother to do karmic ass work. She's not a woman of God. She sent out death spells and magic against those that she feel against her son that she created that monster to become. She created that monster. She know what she did to make him that way. Now she does everything she can to protect him and her from their truth to come out. I'm tired of people goddamn really not being who they are and not, speaking their truth and healing and also taking accountability for the wrongs they have done to others and also themselves. I know how I feel to be taken advantage of by a family member. What that family member will try to hold over you just because you are so-called blood related. And it's not okay, because they have no power to do that to you when you have the power in God within yourself. So I'm asking God today to send peace, to send healing to both parties, both male and female, in order for them to speak their truth, to understand the deep shadow work, because that black evil shit that sinister shit they've been throwing out against people so they won't find out who they really are because they're afraid of being exposed, but it's already exposed because how y'all act about each other. Wonder why this person haven't had a decent relationship, because his mother don't goddamn agree with any female, because she don't want him she want to be young as fuck. She want to be with her child. You better be glad that it couldn't be my masculine. My masculine couldn't been going through that shit, because to be honest, if I told my masculine that it was his mother putting spell work on him the whole time, and he know deep down it was, I believe my masculine would step up and make a change within his family dynamic, and goddamn also take authority of his own life to make a change so he won't continue to be on this string that his mother and his family got him on. That's why that masculine is conflicted within his sexuality, because the first one that hurt him was a woman, which was his mother. And y'all better stand up for something or fall for anything. That's why I'm going through my journey right now, because I had to get away from everything that was holding me, that was trying to hold me hostage. That include my family. And I hope that he frees himself from that bondage, because it's an uncomfortable feeling, but it's also a feeling that he also probably still like. It's forbidden, but it also be what they type, what they love. You pay for everything on this woman's body so she can keep up with you. From the whole facial structure and all, you pay for her whole transformation so she can stay young as you, so she can feel attractive to her son. You got some problems, yo, and I understand, but you conflicting pain upon other people just because they know it's not gonna make it better.
You better best believe the relationship you have with your grandparent is something that they hate, can't stand, none of that, but they're the reason you have the relationship with your grandma. Your grandma had to raise you like me. My grandma had to raise me, had me my whole life type shit. Yeah. I feel like my mama only came and got me just to babysit her kids, because I was old enough to keep the rest of her little kids while she go party and do what she wanted to do. So yes, that relationship with their parents, they hate it because your grandparents might have put the energy that they feel they needed, or the lessons or knowledge or whatever in them that they couldn't do. Like, your parents was in the world, they was of the world, they didn't want to listen, they didn't want to do certain things, and they might have was raised by the grandparents when the grandparents was in a low vibration. Like, the grandparents was out in the world too, so they didn't learn. So because they didn't initially or intentionally just learn certain lessons, like, I don't want to do what my mom do, I don't want to do what my dad do, they fell into that energy. So now they raising you in that energy and hate the relationship you have with their mom because your grandma done changed up. You feel me? Grandma, give you another love, it's something about grandma's touch. Like, I remember my mama used to say, I'm gonna beat your ass if whoop, 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 whoop. And I take it with a grain of salt. Well, grandma say that, bro. It's like grandma hit the soul with her words, with what she say. Like, them grandmas hit different. So hell yeah, she'll conjure up your siblings against you as well. Like, shit, like I said, I think she only came back to get me just to babysit her children, feeling her responsibilities, raise and cook and change their diapers, make sure the house clean, do this, do that. Like, I was 10, 11 years old. I ain't know. That's why I'm so joyful and playful and all that now, because I'm getting me back. You got to learn you back. She done conjured up your siblings and all that. Yeah, you got to cut them folks off because they don't respect you. They don't give a fuck. Them folk do not respect you at all. They come eat off of you. They come take your energy. They come do all that. Ain't no reciprocation because they don't see her reciprocating. So why should they? And then she molded them to think that shit. You the financial mother. You the material mother on a, spiritual level, because that's what it's on. This all spiritual. All of it. It's spiritual. So yes, them folks don't respect you. When you start checking shit and putting your foot down, then goddamn, hey, you gotta let them know you a woman too. You grown. You ain't gotta do that. I ain't gotta do what y'all ask me to do. Periods. Let
2 steps forward if both of your parents are still married. Take 2 steps forward if you grew up with a father figure in the home. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a private education. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a free tutor growing up. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to worry about your cell phone being shut off. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to help mom or dad with the bills. Take 2 steps forward if it wasn't because of your athletic ability. You don't have to pay for college. Take 2 steps forward if you never wondered where your next meal was going to come from.
This is the generational curses. It's a lot of people don't realize to coexist with my mama, to
exist within my family and actually survive, I had to deny, eliminate, suppress, pretend like it don't exist certain parts of myself. Some of y'all, your creative side, your ability to think on your own, your ability to work as a team. Sometimes your ability to just exist and let somebody care for you. You lost that. You lost it in those years of having to rearrange who you were in order to exist in this household or in this family back when you wasn't in charge. So now we're not honest with ourselves.
So y'all don't act like y'all ain't hear Sealy curses, man. Y'all gonna act like y'all ain't hear Sealy curses, man. Okay, let me roll the clip.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about going to that's right. You're black. You're poor. You're ugly. You a woman. I should have kept you under my shit like the fuck you is. Everything done to me. Already done to you. I may be black. I may be poor. I may even be ugly. But I'm here.
This is one of the most iconic curses in a movie, I swear, to me at least, okay? Because it's like, she not just cursing him for nothing. She like, until you do right by me, everything you think about is going to crumble. Like, what's more iconic than that? Because if you do me wrong, your life going to be fucked up. But if you do me right, you'll be all right. Like, what's more iconic than that? Because people be out here cursing people for no reason. But it's like, until you do right by me. Because if you don't do me wrong, then you good, bro. You good. But anybody that's think about doing wrong to me, all your life is going to be fucked up in my eyes. Okay? One of the most iconic curses, okay? When my friend told me about this back in the day, The Color Purple, this is one of the things that stuck with me, this curse, okay? It stuck with me since I was a teenager, y'all. Because it's like, that's real valid. That curse real valid. It's real valid. Like, who don't want people to do right by them? And then if you do wrong by me, nigga, I want you to get your justice. I want you to get your justice. So, baby, this is the most iconic curse to me in a movie. And it teaches you, one, to take back your power, to stand up for yourself, because that's what she did here, okay? She took back her power and she stood up for herself, okay? And she spoke up for herself. She's teaching you how the power in the tongue is so fucking powerful here, because what did he do after this, okay? He got his shit together and he even brought her sister home.
Hey, sister.
Look, he brought her ass back, right? That curse worked, huh?
Going down by the river's gonna play with you.
Now, y'all, I had to replay this back because she sound like an old school conjurer, root worker, okay? A hoodoo lady. The woo-woo lady. Listen.
Everything done to me. Already done to you.
Don't she? Sound like she casting spells.
I may be black.
This is my move for the rest of my life, okay? Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble. Play with your mama. Don't play with me.
How the ancestors got our backs.
So hear me out. Some of y'all not gonna like this, but the ancestors don't got your back. This is what we call witchcraft, and y'all are inheriting all these ancestral demons and familiar spirits that your grandparents and great-great-grandparents inquired of. It's witchcraft. This is why many of you, your bloodline is struggling, while people in your family are struggling. The same thing over and over again, the same cycle, because there's a generational curse, ancestral demons. You guys are not inquiring of actual people. You're inquiring of familiar spirits. Those are not ancestors. Those are demons in your ancestry. Demons do not die, but people die, and they have an eternal destination, whether it's heaven or hell. Your ancestors are either in heaven or hell, period. These are not them. These are ancestral demons. Generational curses. Get free from it.
If you carry 5 of these traits, then that most definitely means that you are a black sheep, and you were sent here to break generational curses in your family. Number 1, you really don't talk to family. Number 2, your family doesn't really understand you, thus causing you not to be around them or talk to them because they make you feel a certain type of way. Number 3, you barely have any friends. Number 3 ties into number 1 and 2. They both play a part with each other. Number 4, You really feel like you were sent here for a much greater purpose than everybody else. And number 5, you stick out when you go to public places. For some reason, people are always drawn to your energy. If you carry all 5 of these traits, then you're most likely here to break a generational curse. So your journey is going to be a lot more harder than your family members. And people won't really understand your vision or why you do things the way you do it. But it's not up to them to understand. Once you start walking in your purpose, they will then start to realize that you will be the one to take your family out of poverty and break the generational curse.
If you're going to be the one to break certain cycles in your family, then it's inevitable that you'll have to endure the hate that comes with those in your family, seeing you defeat the cycles they drowned in. And that causes problems. It causes tension, it causes distance, so don't be surprised when you find yourself the oddball, the one that's left out, the one that's talked about, the one that's disrespected, when you know you have a heart of gold. And also, don't forget that they're behaving this way because they're damaged and hurt, not because they hate you. And the reason they're directing all this energy towards you is because they see things in you that they don't possess themselves, and they feel are unattainable. And you might say, you know, but still, like, it's me. I'm their daughter, I'm their son. Like, how could they treat me like this? And my answer to you is this: there are some issues that have such a hold on someone that it does misconstrue their pattern of thinking and their identity. And it also misconstrues your identity to them. So when they look at you, it's a constant reminder of what spiritual, intellectual, and emotional wholeness they desire, while also being reminded of what they don't or feel they can't attain. So they don't see you. They only see the brokenness in themselves.
Listen to this, listen to this.
Blood, that doesn't mean we're family through blood, but sometimes it's somebody on the outside that's not blood that's actually closer family than the actual biological.
We've been taught to say trauma is okay.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught to say you mistreated me, you abused me, you violated me, you disrespected me, you belittled me, but I'm supposed to look at you at Thanksgiving and say, how you doing, Unc? That's what we've been taught. You swallow that pain. That's why people have such a problem with Cat Williams. People have a problem with people that says, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the truth. And that causes a ruckus. And you would say, why are people upset with the truth? When you
It's funny because as a black sheep of the family, a narcissistic family scapegoat, I can relate to this so much. And when he talked about like her family, he was like, where are you at with your family now? And she's like, they're my biological family, but like basically she don't deal with them. And to hear somebody say that, especially somebody on her level, you know what I'm saying? It's dope because most of celebrities don't speak on stuff like that. You know what I mean? They
Kick-ass facts, famous curses. Pew, 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 pew! Curse of the Hope Diamond. This 112-carat diamond was found in India, where it was supposedly stolen from the head of an idol in the 1600s. The priests of the temple where the idol was housed cursed the stone, as you do. It was passed into the hands of King Louis XVI of France, where it was worn by a princess and later Marie Antoinette. Both were later beheaded along with Louis during the French Revolution. Many believe that whomever is in possession of the Hope Diamond will meet a gruesome death. Even the jewelers who kept the diamond in their shop died under mysterious circumstances. The diamond is currently on display in the United States. The Madden Curse. It's a video game curse. Although considered to be an honor, some NFL players resent being on the cover of the franchise video game Madden. Apparently, many athletes who have appeared on the cover either have a horrible season afterward or end up on the injured list or completely fade into obscurity. The Kennedy Curse was set off with President Kennedy being assassinated in 1963. Robert Kennedy was assassinated 5 years later in 1968. Senator Ted Kennedy survived a plane crash, but later drove off a bridge that killed Mary Jo Kopechne and ended his presidential dreams. Robert Kennedy's son died of a drug overdose. His other son died in a skiing accident. JFK Jr. died in a plane crash along with his wife and sister. And most recently, Mary Kennedy, the estranged wife of RFK Jr., hanged herself. The Poltergeist Curse. 4 cast members of this horror franchise died in the 6 years between the first and the third film. Real cadavers were used as props in the scenes, and that's what the curse is attributed to. Remember that scene in the elevator? It's a glass elevator, and she does this, and her reflection. The Superman curse began because the original comic book creators of Superman cursed their own superhero after they were denied the rights and money to the character. The Superman curse remains one of the most infamous curses of modern times. George Reeves committed suicide. Christopher Reeve became paralyzed after falling off of his horse. Dana Reeve, Christopher's wife and non-smoker, died of lung cancer at the age of 44. Lee Quigley died in 1991 at the age of 14. Margot Kidder suffered from bipolar disorder and intentionally overdosed later. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were abused by DC Comics. The Kohinoor diamond. Every time this diamond has fallen into the hands of a woman, it has resulted in bringing great fortune and luck in her life. However, for every man who ever owned this diamond, they suffered a terrible death. The 27 Club refers to the famous and equally talented musicians, not just musicians, there's actors too, who died at the age of 27. Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, and Amy Winehouse. What's even more bizarre about this curse is that most of them, with the exception of Amy Winehouse, became famous at the age of 25 and then died 2 years later.
Supposedly Bruce Lee had like a family curse.
Oh yeah, because his son died, right?
So like when Bruce Lee was born, his family felt like they had a curse that either somebody was out to get him or something was out to get him. Either it was a spirit or like people was out to get him. And it was only for the male people in his family. And he even said that he always felt like something was watching him or something was just like creeping, like lurking, stalking him. He predicted that he wasn't gonna live till like half his father's age. His dad died at 64 and he died at 32. To a allergy accident. Like he ate something that he was allergic to and died, which is very weird.
That's very weird at the age of 32.
And people thought it was the triads.
Chinese triads.
The Chinese triads was all out to get him. And then he also predicted his son was going to die at an early age. And that's when he did that movie, The Crow.
Yeah,
and then he died from a stray bullet. But like, what are the odds that there's an actual bullet in a prop gun? People think he was also set up, but they don't know who it was. They might have been just straight bad luck. And I think the family thought that it was just like something was just out to stop the family bloodline. That's why they only go for the males.
Never get the chance to treat me like I'm a piece of shit again. Don't call my motherfucking house.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but y'all better be very careful of who you let touch your hair. Earlier, I made a content talking about how you should be very careful of who you let in your house because people bring in bad spirits. But also, you have to be very careful of cursed people touching your hair. Yes, I said it. Cursed people. You ever got your hair done by somebody, either braids or like a blowout? Next thing you know, your hair start falling out, your edges start getting all thin because you let somebody curse touch your hair. A lot of times y'all think it's them hair products that's taking out your hair, and the whole time it was that person that was cursed that touched your hair. That's why you gotta be very careful of who touches your child hair. A lot of people are witches. A lot of people practice witchcraft, and they might be practicing witchcraft on your hair the whole entire time. Because a lot of times it has nothing to do with the hair products. I know tons of people that got relaxers and their hair is still long to this very day. No breakage, no nothing. But the moment they got their hair done by somebody that was cursed, they lost all their hair. Y'all better be careful.
Somebody told me this weekend to be careful for when somebody offers you a gift, when some people give you gifts, because they truly could be giving you a curse. And I had to think about that. And I was like, what you mean? Like something tangible, a friendship? And the lady told me, no, something tangible. Be careful when somebody offers you something, when somebody give you something. Because let me tell you something, the wicked ways of the world today, you don't know what people are doing when they try to give you something. Be careful for the items that you let in your house. Be careful. Tell your children to be careful what they borrow from people, what they touch of other people. Because sometimes people are not pure at heart, and people know exactly what it is that they doing. So just be on the lookout when people offer you something. If you feel something is not right about it, sis, don't take it. Don't bring it into your home.
So I was taking a walk the other day.
This is how you realize if you the generational curse breaker in your family. The term generational curse is just a little too mystical for people to really take heed to. So how I look at it is generational curses is just unrealized projected trauma. All right. So to explain it, the generation before us, your parents went through certain traumatic experiences. And because they never realized what that trauma really was and how it affected them, right? Not even that they didn't heal from it. They never even became aware of it. They never realized it. So because they never even realized it, all they did was just project it, subconsciously project it and make it their reality. And because they had children, they started a new generation. They subconsciously projected their trauma and pushed it onto you, making their trauma your trauma. And now your siblings, maybe you, the person watching this, is now repeating the pattern of trauma. The trauma could be whatever. It could be addiction. It could be poverty. It could be foster care. It could be imprisonment. But only one of y'all is gonna be able to realize what it actually is and step away from it. So you'll know what the trauma is because the previous generation, your parents, somebody in that previous generation is gonna tell you that the family just has a sickness. What we go through is inevitable. It's gonna happen to all of you. It's gonna happen to all of you because you're making it happen. Goddamn, it's gonna happen to all of you. We're cursed. They're gonna say things like that. Right, making this curse a reality, but it's only a reality because they never healed from it and they put it onto you in the first place. Number 2, look at your siblings. All right, look at your siblings. Are they repeating the exact same things that the previous generation went through? All right. Are they doing the exact same things? Do they even realize what the trauma actually is? They might see it, but do they truly understand what it actually is? If you're the one that was chosen by your ancestors, if you're the real chosen one in your family, you're going to be the one that realizes what it is, hears them saying it's a sickness, it's an inevitable curse, all that shit. You're going to realize it and instantly be deterred away from that mindset. You're going to hear that and instantly say to yourself, nah, I can change it. I can do different. If that's you, you're the real curse breaker in your family, quote unquote. And then what I have noticed about the curse breaker in families is it'll be something about them. What I've noticed is it's always the skin, right? It is always in the skin. It's going to be something about the curse breaker that is completely different from the rest of the siblings in the family. For me, I'm the darkest in my family. All right, everyone else in my family, they're chocolatey. Me, I'm dark chocolate. The other curse breakers I know, it's their skin. They're just different from their family for some reason. They're darker, they're lighter. It's gonna be something about you that physically stands out to match how you spiritually and energetically stand out as well. This is just what I've picked up throughout life. This is what I think actually makes somebody a generational curse breaker in their family. Follow for more. If you think somebody will resonate with this content, if you think somebody needs to hear this, go ahead and share this with them. If you like my content, don't be afraid to drop a like. Don't treat a like $5, all right? And also, I read birth charts. If you're into astrology, I can tell you a little bit about yourself and things that you'll deal with throughout this life, the energies that make you who you are on a soul level. So if you're into astrology, DM me on Instagram and I can get you right. Look at my testimonials. They speak for themselves. I'll have a website up soon. I just got a little more that I got to figure out.